Hello and namaste, my beautiful friends. My name is Jill Loftus. Thanks for joining me today on Odyssey The Platform to talk about the astrology of March of 2024. Now, this is an interesting month, which I think we're saying every month these days, but it's a really interesting month in that a lot of the aspects have to do with the planets clustering together. As astrologers, the term we use for this when the planets get very closely connected is called a stellium. And that's when you have three or more planets less than 3 degrees apart from each other in a grouping. Now, when this happens and the planets get in that close range, so just those few degrees, it's not unlike if you're in a room somewhere and someone's way across the room, and then they come and they stand right in front of you. By standing right in front of you or linking arms and being right beside you, they, of course, are influencing you and your behaviors. And this is true also of the planets. Now, what this means is there's a true concentration of energy. And the concentration of energy this month is really focused on the sign of Pisces and whatever area of life that is for you, and also Aries. So the very end of the zodiac and the very beginning of the zodiac. And so this is powerful energy. Now, the reason that Pisces is such a high focus area for all of us right now is partially because we have Neptune in Pisces, which has been there since 2012, very much strongly pulsing away, very empowered in the sign of Pisces. But it's introduced this strong Neptunian pull, which in its highest ideals would be spiritual, would be connected, would be infinite and understanding. But in some of its negative expressions, it's become confusing, obsessed with glamour. It's become delusional, and it introduces this kind of not a misunderstanding of where the edges are. All right. But then starting last year in March of 23, Saturn moved into the sign of Pisces. Now, Saturn represents old age and time and experience and structure and hard lessons. In the sign of Pisces, this energy is a little destabilized. I equate it to it's almost quite like you're trying to go for a walk in like 3 or 4, no, let's say 5 or 6 inches of water, and it's muddy, and you can't really see where you're placing each foot. It almost feels like that, right? And so you may have even sensed and felt what it's been like for you and what the symbols and energies have been like for you starting last March. Well, now that concentration of energy of both Neptune and Saturn, which are not near each other yet, but in the same sign, is beginning to be accentuated by the movements of the faster moving planets. All right. And this brings a lot of energy into this space. There's also a lot pulsing away in Aries and new beginnings and the astrological new year when the sun goes to 0 degrees Aries. And so the Aries energy in its highest vibration, it's action and optimism and yeah, let's go, let's do this thing. And in its shadow is anger and fighting, immaturity, or lack of discernment. All right. This month also brings us our very first eclipse for 2024. And so this will kind of set a tone for things that we need to kind of let go of this year. It's going to be a penumbral lunar eclipse, full moon eclipse, and it's going to be visible almost all over the world. It's very unusual. It's going to be visible in Europe, North and East Asia. It's going to be visible in all of North America, all of South America, the Arctic and Antarctica. This means that there's a global kind of energy related to this eclipse. And I also want you to keep in mind that there are a number of moon voids again. Last month we had them, this month we have them. When the moon is void, it is not interacting with anything else in the sky. And it gives this kind of like dreamy, floaty quality, which is just stunning for meditation or inspiration or, art or these wonderful ideas, but it doesn't allow things to stick. Things cannot gain traction. So you want to take note of the moon voids. I'll highlight a couple of them in this talk, but there are so many. And of course, with time zones, you need to adjust them for the time zone. But they're not a time if you're making a major decision, signing a contract, booking airline tickets, things that you want to actually happen. You do not want to initiate those during these moon void times. But again, they're potent times for kind of letting the edges become a little blurry of your consciousness and being open to possibility and potential. But for linear actions, not so good. All right. So let's take a quick look. I've got a little listing here, so I'm going to be looking at my notes. A couple dates that I want you to pay attention to. First off is March 3rd, because Venus, which is still in Aquarius, getting ready to move into Pisces, but she is going to send a difficult angle of energy to Taurus, Uranus in Taurus. When this happens, it can be very destabilizing, especially because Venus prefers to be in Taurus and Uranus prefers to be in Aquarius. So there's this kind of little interesting synergy between the two of them. This is a date to really pay attention to money, finances, supply chains, even weather events. So just a little caution flag, 2nd, 3rd, 4th of the month. Now, we do have some beautiful blessing energy around the 5th and 6th, with Mars sending some really nice energy to the nodes of the moon, which are some very karmic points that are in the midst of a 19-year cycle. Some themes back from 2005 are coming forward, and Mars is going to send some blessing energy there. So it's almost like a visionary kind of quality of how to work towards improving your relationships. So take note of that. All right. Now, after that little Venus-Uranus dust up at the beginning of the month, Mars steps into that as well. Mars is still in Aquarius, and it's going to square to Uranus. Now, when the warrior, Mars, squares to Aquarius, then we have to be a little bit more cautious. We have to, doesn't square Aquarius, squares Uranus. We have to be a little more cautious because there can be accidents. Remember, Uranus is the planet of sudden shocking events, of change, of kind of group energy. It rules the higher levels of technology. And so 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, even 10th of the month, with this difficult energy in play, there could be more accidents. Once again, weather issues could come up, issues with currency, but also issues with fighting or arguments or the use of technology in war, to the extent that that's, kind of a new symbol that we're beginning to see in the world. Watch the 8th also. There's a really long moon void all afternoon into the early evening if you're on the East Coast. And then a little circle on March 9th, because there's a beautiful energy that flows from the sun in Pisces over to that Uranus. Now, I'm really relying on that to help smooth out a little bit of the difficult angular energy coming from the Mars. But any interaction of the sun and Uranus could spark up beautiful ideas, magical synchronicities, things that happen that you're like, wow, I didn't even think that was possible. So have your magic goggles on so you can see the good things happening in your life. Our new moon is on the 10th of the month. It's at 5 a.m. Eastern. It's at 20 degrees, 17 minutes of Pisces. Brand new beginnings in the Pisces area of life. Now, it has some beautiful blessings, that beautiful sextile, that sexy sextile between the sun and Uranus, which makes anything possible. That, we still have it all month, a little bit of positive Jupiter, Saturn and firing. But then it's also got that Mars, Uranus. And so there is a little bit of this pushing energy. And Pisces is not a sign that likes to be pushed. So launch your new initiatives and remember that anything is possible. Another beautiful day to keep an eye on is March the 11th, because then Venus is going to slip into Pisces. And Venus, she's much happier in the sign of Pisces than she was in Aquarius, where she's a little too detached. Once she enters into Pisces, she wants to merge with her beloved. She's so inspired. And so pick up on those lovely vibes and enjoy that coming right on the heels of the new moon. Super long moon void on March 12th, so keep an eye on that. And then we're beginning to have a little bit more of a compaction of the planets. And on the 17th of the month, the sun in the sign of Pisces is going to connect with Neptune. Now, this is absolutely just inspiring energy, but confusing energy. Be very cautious. Be wise. Don't be blocking. We all use certain things to distract, whether it's, disappearing into a movie or, anything that you use to block. Too much coffee too much wine. All of those things are things that you have to be a little more careful and cautious. And you also have to be careful of Neptunian people, people who tend to have kind of slippery personalities or aren't always on the up and up. Be a little more cautious and careful those couple days. March 18th, you're going to want to also put a little circle around because Mercury will step into its shadow zone. So it's not retrograde yet, but it's starting to enter into the zone where it will retrace its steps. And so you want to, before the 18th, purchase any technology that you want to acquire over the next couple months. Make sure that you have your backup systems. If starting on the 18th, if you're like, wow, I never heard from that person, I wonder if they didn't get the email. They probably didn't, so follow up. On March 19th, we have our astrological new year of the sun going to 0 degrees of Aries. This is spring in the Northern Hemisphere, and so it hopefully will bring us a little bit more optimism and help. But again, we start to get more energy in Aries. On the 22nd, Mars is going to slip into Pisces. Now, out of Aquarius, but into Pisces. And I always think of the warrior on his horse stepping into that water where he can't really see, can't really get his footing. So sometimes that can be a little uncomfortable energy. And again, it's packing the energy into the Pisces area of life. If you know what house that is in your astrological chart, that can be really useful. We wrap up the month with, on the 25th, that eclipse. It's a full moon lunar eclipse at 5 degrees, 7 minutes of Libra at 3 a.m. Eastern time. Something is going to leave your life. Eclipses are activators and full moons are endings. So bless and acknowledge whatever is trying to be released from the Libra area of life. It absolutely could be connected to partnerships or relationships of some type. So loosen your grip. I don't recommend major cord cutting rituals or things like that when there is an eclipse. It's just too much energy. So just loosen your grip a little bit in that Libra area of life. Don't forget, as we get ready for April, which is another large month astrologically, we have Jupiter getting ever so closer to the planet Uranus. And Uranus, again, the planet of rebellion, the planet of revolutions, the planet of the internet. And Jupiter just makes it bigger. So an interesting month coming up there. Alrighty, my friends, let's share the screen so that I can give you a little heads up for each of the signs. Change this to hours, and we're going to start with our beautiful Aries friends. All right, Aries, as you know, when all these planets are packing into you as an Aries rising in particular, but even as an Aries sun or moon, there's a lot of energy flowing through you. Make sure that you're exercising, making sure that you're really staying active so that any kind of residual energy doesn't back up or get tense within you, right? There's a lot of energy around healing, around solving problems, latent problems, and especially if you struggle with some of those typical Aries issues like headaches. This can be a great time to kind of tackle some of those issues. You've also got some deep, deep subconscious material coming up that needs to be purged, moved on, resolved, lineage karma. And there's that tension between the Mars and Uranus at the beginning, second week of the month or so. That's from the area of life that has to do with your friendships and groups of people you identify with and your money. And so keep an eye on that and be cautious that you're not leaking time and energy in the wrong situations or in pursuit of the wrong goals. Taurus. Well, this cluster of planets is happening for you in dreams, hopes, and wishes area of life, but also that subconscious mind. But keep in mind, you still have that Jupiter and you have that Uranus in that first house of you and your personality. You are undergoing a renovation. You are seeing the world in a different way. Be sure that you're not getting into any issues with work this month. That tension between Mars and Uranus is coming from your career house down to you. So power struggles, arguments, you're kind of seeing things one way, the bosses or authority figures might be seeing them in another way. It actually could also be just a big heads up that it's time for you to look for a new job new career, new environment. Now, there's some beautiful blessings flowing for you in that 11th house of dreams, hopes, and wishes. And it's a time to really put the energy into the things that you want to pursue. Form the relationships that are going to carry you forward in this lifetime. Make the bucket list and get started. And, the eclipse occurs in your 6th house of daily life and health. Monitor your health and health routines. Take care of yourself so that you can move skillfully through the month. Right, my beautiful Gemini rising, Gemini sun, Gemini moon, particularly with the rising sign. Remember, the rising sign is going to show you the areas of life that the energies are piling up in our little stelliums, and we're looking at a big career-focused month for you. So you've been working really hard. You've been trying to wade through some of the confusion that's been happening for you over these past few years. But now, you really got a little boost starting last March. And over that last year, it kind of things got real for you career-wise. Put in the effort. Make sure that you are doing the work that you need. What you have to watch out for is that you're not working at the thing that's really going to get you where you want to go. So make sure you gain clarity in whatever way that works for you. Often for you, it's thinking it through and talking about it. But don't just talk about it. You've got to initiate. You've got to take actions, right? Now, you may indeed have some sense of loss over this next month, of a friendship, of a goal, of something that you kind of wanted to pursue that just didn't go the way you wanted to. It's time to start initiating some new actions as far as what you want, dreams and desires. And you have to make sure that you feel worthy to achieve the things that you want and obtain the positive fruits of your labors and all the hard work that you're going through right now. All right, my beautiful Cancer friends. All right, the pileup of Pisces planets for you is in the 9th house of learning, travel. So what you teach, how you learn, new information that you need to gain in order to move forward in your career might really be a highlight right now. It is easy for you to lose your way when you are receiving so much information. So make sure that you are doing your cleansing practices, you're coming home and changing clothes, taking a shower, and again, there are going to be some career things happening where you may come to a resolution and it's time to move forward. I know sometimes you have a little trouble, a little struggle going straight after something, pursuing your goals. And I'm not saying push beyond your comfortability or comfort level, but you may have some opportunities that come forward. You might, again, look back to 2005 and see what was going on then. But it might be time to initiate some action. Now, do watch if a friend would want to collaborate with you in some way, or even want to share money or resources, or want to invest in something with you. Be a little more cautious. Things could go sideways a little bit, especially with that clash between the Mars and the Uranus. You might suddenly need to step up for a friend as well. And so be prepared for, expecting the unexpected. You could also begin to see how some of your deepest dreams and desires are starting to come together. And next month is the month to really be open to that magic. All right, my beautiful Leo friends. So with Pluto standing across the sky from your sign, there's transformation again. And you're like, wait, haven't I already been through enough transformation? Thank you very much. It's time to really start pursuing some of your goals education-wise. It's time for you to conquer the feeling of less than, or that you don't have enough education. Some of us can be way too much in the pursuit of, and I may have even said this last month, way too much in the pursuit of certain letters after the name, or feeling like you never have enough education in order to put yourself out there. Put yourself out there. Now, there might be some difficult partnership issues that arise this month, some clash, some difficulties. Really tap in and get your meditation and spiritual connections on point so that you can handle those things appropriately. and not, throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. You will find yourself having conversations and really reaching out beyond your comfort zone in a lot of ways. And if there's opportunities for you to engage in new beginnings spiritually, this is the month to really initiate those changes. All right. My beautiful Virgo personalities. Well, as you know, when Mercury begins to get into the shadow zone, you need to be a little bit more careful and cautious. Mercury will be retracing its steps through the Aries portion of your chart, which has to do with shared resources, has to do with investments, has to do with the spiritual search. It also has to do with sexual dynamics. And so you may find yourself renegotiating some of those things when we get towards the end of the month and into next month. So be sure to set those goals. If you're going to make any changes in those areas of life, get those accomplished before you get to the 18th of March. Now, there may be some beautiful initiations happening for you in the relationship sector. I want you to get clear on what you want. I want you to be forward thinking. I want you to be honest with yourself. I want you to let go of any substandard relationship or anybody or anything that is like siphoning off your energy. If you have any chi vampires, as we might say it, you will really be aware of it towards the end of the month. And it's time to reformulate those relationships or let them go. But be sure that all partnerships are in your highest and best interests. It's also a great time for you to really pursue maybe some unusual holistic healing methods. Step outside of the box for the things that you want to do in order to get your health on point. Always important for you, for everyone, really. Libra rising. The parties in your work house, your daily life house, and your partnership house. And so putting in the effort to resolve ancient karmic patterns regarding relationships, absolutely key for you this month. It will be a highlight. There will be a lot of energy focused on that in very positive ways, particularly at the beginning of the month. You've got to watch that little bit of tension between Mars and Uranus. That is from your 5th house of speculation up to the 8th house of shared resources. There might be something that comes up with your partner's work or something like that you want to keep an eye on, and you absolutely may have some swings when it comes to your investments. You want to make any decisions around those things, talk it out with your partner before Mercury gets into the shadow. Conversations are going to have to be re-examined, repaired. You're going to have a lot of relationship issues happening this month and next. So try to gain clarity now. There really is a lot of abundant energy there for you to heal and to improve your relationships and partnerships. Definitely get yourself a schedule if you haven't already. While Saturn travels through your 6th house, a little bit of a schedule will take you a long, long way. All righty. Scorpio, my beautiful Scorpio friends. So things are literally moving up through the chart for you. And we've got a powerhouse packed 5th house of creative projects. Your children might need a little extra from you. It's time to put the energy into the things that you want to express, the book you want to write, the business you want to launch. It may be hard to gain clarity on those things, but use your Scorpio stealth skills to understand what to do. Absolutely get your health and health matters on point. Put in the energy, put in the effort, get yourself an exercise program. And watch for little issues in home, maybe a little dust up, between you and your partner. Particularly, I would say someone you might be living with. There might be some conflict. Watch that, keep an eye on it, be aware of it, resolve the problem with the calmness and steadiness that your partnerships and relationships, your love relationships really require. You may be having some really intense conversations with coworkers and things like that this month. So just make sure that you stay steady, stay the course. They might be blowing up a little bit, and we know that you'll stay calm on the outside. Try to stay calm on the inside too. All right. Sagittarius, my beautiful Sagittarian friends. Wow. Well, we're really looking forward to next month in April when Jupiter comes together with Uranus, and some magical things will be happening for you as a Jupiter ruled sign. But in the meantime, we're definitely paying attention to this the deep depths of inner self and how you are re-anchoring yourself in so many ways. What is home is being redefined for you, and there is a brand new beginning for that for you in that area of life. So you may get some information about a potential move. Something like that might be coming up for you. I also want you to be really careful with, if you have a tendency to spend money quickly or do something rash or take risks financially, there could be some repercussions. You might want to see what the patterns are, look back to 2005, what was happening then, be a little wise, be a little cautious. Absolutely could be an ending of a friendship this month. Could be somebody, it's time to go, or even just a group that you identify with, maybe even time or energy that you've been spending with a group, and it's just time to move on, time to be a little bit more autonomous, time to be a little bit more independent. Could also be literally the death of a dream, and that could mean a lot of different things, but an ending as far as something that you've wanted to pursue. Don't hold on too tightly. Loosen your grip. Now, there could be an argument or an issue in your daily life when we've got those Mars dates in the beginning of the month. So end of first into second week of March, be a little careful, cautious. Don't be argumentative. And, I know sometimes you don't really like to use a filter, but I would suggest having one, particularly with coworkers, neighbors, or siblings. All right. Capricorn, my beautiful Capricorn friends, a lot of this is happening deep within you. Like, this is a reprogramming time for you in so many ways. Look at the planets all clustered down there in the houses that have to do with your communication and mind, your deepest inner self, and your creative projects. As you are reevaluating, as you are reprioritizing things, be sure to keep an eye on your instincts and intuition. The ancient symbol for the Capricorn is the sea goat. You do have really good instincts. Be sure to use them. There could be a ending at the end of the month with that eclipse in your career house. So it could be the letting go of a goal. It could be an issue related to an authority figure or boss, or if you are an authority figure or boss, which you probably are, you're at least the boss of you, right? Go ahead and let that change happen, because it really is almost like an outer reflection of your deepest inner self and how that is being changed. If you have any issues around mothering, women in general, I would take the time to process and heal. This could be stuff coming up from childhood, could be a conversation that you need to have with your siblings or somebody that you knew. Go ahead and put in the effort and work here. And then also, if you really are wanting to, launch or initiate something creative next month, this month is very preparatory. And so go ahead and put in those hours so that you're ready to go next month. Aquarius, my beautiful Aquarians, so that you are just absolutely ready for reconstruction, right? There's beauty in the breakdown. You've got to trust that. Now, really look at your money and values. You've got to pay attention to finances. Remember the intricate and intimate connection between your self-esteem and your money. So be wise. Really pay attention to what you're doing. There have been some difficulties or lack of clarity. Again, that metaphor that I was giving you of walking into the water, go ahead, but dedicate yourself to it. Now, overwork could be a real problem. Built up anger, conversations, unspoken words, issues with relationships. Oh, yeah. So go ahead and move that energy if you can. I always recommend, especially if you feel like you can't say something to someone, to write them a letter and burn it. That would be, I think that would be an acceptable thing to do, even for the eclipse energy. Not a big major cord cutting, but like a catharsis of letting go of something that's occupying your mind, that's been hurting or feeling uncomfortable. You definitely are going to have to repeat some conversations. And so, as my teacher would say, put a little honey on the tongue. So if you have to eat your words back, they're not so bitter. Okay. So be a little careful. Your mind might be somewhat agitated. So make sure that you're moving that energy through exercise, positive expressions of effort, right? Like positive margin activities. Beautiful Pisces, my friends. Oh my goodness, there's so much happening for you. Pisces rising, Pisces sun, Pisces moon. Oh my goodness. Add water as needed. You've got to stay grounded. Saturn in your sign always means a lot of hard work, but the other thing is that Saturn in your sign means that the efforts that you put in are rewarded. You are getting this gorgeous connection between, Saturn, the dark angel of learning, connecting to that Jupiter in the third. So make some connections, get out in the world. Now, if you have a self-defeating habit or pattern this month, it's really going to be highlighted, and there will be outer world repercussions for it. It's not just you who will suffer. You will have a dust up with somebody, a shocking event that will scare you, not necessarily scare you, but like identify for you something that you're doing for yourself, or an interior pattern that is not healthful or happy or healing. So if you know what that is, head it off, especially at the beginning of the month. Head it off by not engaging in those habits or patterns. Try to vibe high. And of course, you've got to always watch your environment. You soak up your environment. So be with the highest vibrational people. Hang out with your steady, stable Capricorn friends. Slow down a little bit and make sure that you're engaging in your protective practices. You're going to have to rethink a financial commitment or time commitment later this month and into next. And so make sure you don't take on too much. And you also get that self-esteem on point. There are going to be some big, not even big, but the potential for some big things to happen this month that really show you, wow, how I spend my money really relates to how I feel about myself. That might really come forward for you this month. All right. Well, I hope you found this useful and helpful, my dear friends. I hope that you will leave me a comment. I would so appreciate your feedback on this reading. I wish you a marvelous month. Please be sure to hop on Odyssey, the platform. We have an amazing array of free events and also an amazing array of practitioners who are available to serve you and help you as you move through the energies of this month and beyond. And I'll see you next month. Namaste.